My name is Winifred Ugbebo once again, and I have my friend, the guest in the studio. He's a public affairs analyst, Gerard Carthy.
Thank you for
Good
having
morning.
me. Good morning to you.
It's good to have you
Thank you for having me.
around. Yes, we are looking at the topical issues for discussion on this second half of the program. Of course, the story that has been gracing the cover consistently is the issue of insecurity, and to take proactive steps, or to no, not really proactive, because the situation has actually degenerated, to curb or stem the tide of insecurity and the spate of killings in the land. The federal government recently deployed forest guards for Nigeria's 1,129 forests. And these forest guys are to take charge, especially of the governed spaces, because it's on the public discourse that most of the forests have been taken over by these killer herdsmen. What are your views? Is it too late?
It's a little bit too late as far as I'm concerned, irrespective that you see, because of lack of these proactive measures, because what we are doing is reactive.
Yes, reactive.
That is what give room to regional security arrangements like Amoteko, Ibubago, Isba, and what have you. You understand? If at least we have set these forest guards as at 10 years ago, a lot of lives and properties with regards to farm destructions, clashes we have recorded will not have gotten to this point. You understand? And don't forget that one of the benefits of this forest guys is that you are going to be employing people that understand the terrain.
Yes, the terrain.
It's not like when you employ somebody in the police force or army, somebody from the south, you are asking him to go to the north to go and secure those areas, that he doesn't understand the language, he doesn't understand the culture, he doesn't understand the terrain. You understand? He finds it difficult. But this forest guard will be a situation whereby whoever that is recruited in each of the 704 local governments will be made to man those areas. And at least it will help with intelligence gathering. Once they are fortified, they can even take on those terrorists more than even the soldiers.
No, we are seeing a situation whereby we are losing our men in the frontline battle. Talking about soldiers, videos have been,
which is very demoralizing.
Very. We even saw some soldiers crying over the bodies of their slain colleagues.
Honestly speaking, I sympathize, and but then
are attributed to the sellout by
sabotage.
yes,
certainly
it's people that, because consistently this has been happening.
Yes, it has been happening because we have not really done the needful. You understand? And sometimes when you get close to solving the puzzle with regards to this consistent insecurity, there will be twisting and thwarting of the process. You understand? They will frustrate you from not succeeding in what you need to do, because the insecurity has dabbled into politics and interests, because there are people that are getting fatter because of the situation on ground. You understand? And don't forget, there's no way you can attribute this insecurity without one way or the other drawing the attention of the international community, because there are people that are mining our resources. So they need to destabilize and distract us in order to continue their illegal mining. You understand? Because if there are no insecurity, anybody that enters any bush to organize anything, of course, Ministry of Mine and other relevant agencies can easily, apprehend the person and do the needful.
Right. Now, still talking about the issue of sabotage within the security force, there were reports that these bandits, especially in the northeast, we are using drones.
And yes,
the type of drones they are using
is more sophisticated.
Yes, very sophisticated. How come?
That's what I'm telling you, that there's a collaboration. You see, have you observed that this AES, this group that just carved themselves out of ECOWAS recently because of the military juntas in their areas, Burkina Faso, Mali, and I think Niger, those groups. Have you discovered that since they pull out, they chased the France, or call it Francophone countries, they chased the French out. There have been relative improvement in terms of security
in their places.
Those influx, those things. Just last week, there were a report that Niger, in collaboration with Burkina Faso, killed over 1,000 terrorists. You understand? So they have have the few days because we have good, we call them good relationship, or we have a form of bilateral relationship with the French, courtesy of the current president we have.
President.
You understand? So
Yes.
they are having access to come to us. Any day Nigeria wakes up and say no to this Western world, especially those from the Europe. You understand? Those from those French areas, and say enough is enough. Believe me, we will begin to see progress in that in terms of security. Because who is giving them? There are reports that even they get supplies with helicopters.
Yes.
You understand? Who is moving those helicopters? Who's supplying those things? When they go, El-Rufai was still governor of Kaduna State.
Kaduna State.
He once said that he knows them. He paid them to stop attacking.
Yes.
Meaning that the ruling class know those are attacking us.
However, but if I may also intervene, but so much was actually expected from President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, because given his where he's from, because the last administration, we many Nigerians felt that there was killings, so much killings under him because of his kinsmen. They were his kinsmen.
Yes.
Fulani. However, Tinubu is from a different region altogether.
At the beginning,
What
in
would have
first
expected that he
year,
had political will.
in his first year, there were improved in security. But I see the recent surge with regarding security as a deliberate sabotage to undermine and discredit his government.
Yes.
Because that is what they are used to. They use it to discredit Jonathan's government.
Yes.
You understand?
Yes.
So without distracting Tinubu in some of giant and courageous steps he's taking in the economy, even though that is forcing us to suffer. You understand? He will make progress. And if we make progress before 2027, most of people, including myself, that are lamenting, that are in lamentation because of the hardship,
because of
will
the
begin
hardship
to
in
change.
the land.
You understand? We'll begin to change if we begin to see gains from his effort. You understand? So those political juggernauts are seeing it that if you allow this guy to succeed in what he's doing,
you come on a platter of gold in
you understand?
2027.
People will begin to hail him. So in order to distract him, you know, of course, there are people that have this self-entitlement mentality that we have seen in the north. You understand? That I believe that because they helped Bola Ahmed Tinubu to become what he is, they are expected to get some things. You understand? Like you see in recent times with El-Rufai complaining and other guys from the same ASICs. So I strongly believe that it's a deliberate attempt to discredit his government.
Okay, what is the way forward apart from the employment? Will I call it employment or these forest guards?
I think the way forward is not just getting the forest guard. He should consider getting mercenaries.
Yes, and why are governments not doing naming and shaming? Because you cannot tell me that they keep arresting Boko Haram commanders. Are they not debriefing them?
Well, I'm sure they are debriefing them, but then it was an animal farm that they say all animals are equal, but some are more equal than the others. There are persons in Nigeria that they have attained to status that they become almost untouchable, because our society today makes strong men instead of strong institutions. You understand? If we have had strong institutions, there are people that are supposed to be in prison by now. You understand?
Yes.
But because we have strong men, more than strong, you understand? There are people that you touch, they will use propaganda, bigotry, ethnicity, religion to fight back. And when they fight back, they will destabilize your government. That is why when you prove get to a certain point, it becomes classified information.
All right, moving away from issue of insecurity, let's talk National Assembly. There were reports yesterday that the National Assembly has actually passed for second reading a bill for mandatory voting, a bill that will compare every Nigerian, whether you feel like it or not, to come out and vote for every election exercise. And many Nigerians are criticizing this bill, saying that it's like putting the cat, or is it the horse before the cat? Because without addressing the issues, we're in a situation whereby Nigerians' votes do not count. How do you see that?
I have a mixed feelings with regards to You know,
That can you compare? How can you compare that it's mandatory? You must come and vote.
that's why I said I have a mixed feeling.
Although I've always
Under the
voted.
rights
Anyway,
of, I think, chapter 4, where you have various
freedom.
rights,
Yes.
association movement, and what have you. You understand? That's enactment is against it.
Yes.
But then, if we are
But I'm
sincere,
expecting activists, CSOs to rise up because it just passed second reading to say
hold
no
on.
to
That's
that.
why I said I have a mixed feeling.
Yes.
If you recall, from 2003 to 2007 to 2011, 2015, 2019 to 2023, we continue to see decline in number of voters. That is voter party or voter party.
Voter party. Yes,
You understand?
party.
People not coming out,
To vote.
don't having that enthusiasm. Some will tell that before even the vote is cast, they have already known, they have written the results. You understand?
Yes.
So, and that is what is giving room to these manipulators, politicians, to continue to manipulate. But I believe if we have good number of persons, if we have up to 50 and above percentage of number of registered voters coming out to vote, there will be limitations to rigging.
Oh, you think so?
Yes, I'm an election observer.
Okay.
I lead it's one of the things that we have sent as recommendations. If people are mandated in one way or the other to come out to vote, certainly there will be a reduction in manipulation. There will be reduction in rigging. And there will be reduction in subjugation of results or mutilation of results. You can't tell me in my area and I cast votes in my polling unit. I know people in my polling unit. I know the presiding officer and all the assistants. And you want to tamper with my vote. This time is not issue of go to court. You will be the court there. So it will certainly reduce.
Apart from the issue of voting and mandatory voting, what about the election act? What is the National Assembly doing? Because it's something that many Nigerians are waiting for amendment to that electoral act. For
I think
instance,
they are
there's
working
no
on
transmission of
electronic transmission. They
yes,
are actually working on it. In fact, there was a bill that Independent Electoral Commission, that is INEC, is pushing at the National Assembly to see how they can as well petition permanent voters card to use e-card, where even people in the diaspora, people in awaiting trial in correctional facilities can exercise their franchise. You understand? So they are trying to open up some limitations they created. You understand? And then see how they can transmit from polling units direct to the server, so that you without going to collection centers where they manipulate things.
Yes, because
so
that's where
I think their work is a work in progress.
all right, thank you so much. Now, moving away from, we are still on electoral processes and talking about our justice system. What do you have to say about that? Because I see that a CSO is actually on.
Yes,
that,
it's our
yes.
organization. I as the national coordinator. We have in recent times seen that there have been perverse judgment by judges, wherein that most of the things they rule out, either rulings or judgments, are not inconsistent with realities and facts and empirical documentary evidence. It's either on sentiment, emotion, bias, or they rely on social media.
And apart from that, during the valedictory session of the last Senate, we saw a senator said on camera that he has helped his wife.
That's what I'm saying.
Incidentally, was the
appeal court judge. You understand? That he helped his friends.
And nothing happened.
That's what I'm telling you.
Some of his colleagues there in the hollow chamber.
There have been numerous cases that where you have empirical evidence, judges will leave the evidence. For example,
that of Senate President and former Senate President Lawan
that did not participate in the primaries,
and they gave them
the judgment. Even in recent time, that even the professor from Akwa Ibom that manipulated the election went to jail, and the person that enjoyed the favor is working free. You understand?
Even the professor, they say, is working free. I saw the report.
I don't know about that too. Except they have, if they maybe that judgment is attached with a fine. You understand? Maybe they
saw
are
I saw
paid
the
fine.
report.
In just recent as 2 weeks ago, we have seen judgment in Kuba High Court. That is Godwin Imadu versus Peter Nwachukwu, where they were targeting a particular amount of money in back. And they were supposed to hear the matter. Judge did not hear the matter. He grants relief. And these are the kind of things that cause Justice Inyag Eku to be suspended.
Yes.
You understand? We have seen a judgment where they passed in recent time, where somebody they claimed that killed the wife. You understand? In the case of Osinachi. And they did autopsy. Autopsy said the woman died of cardiac tamponade. That is cancer that affected heart, kidney, and lung. The judge give culpable homicide. You understand? Assuming that maybe those sentiments is shared in the media or lies they propagated that the man they beat the wife. You understand? Which we thoroughly condemn. Does beating cause cancer?
Maybe he predisposed it, as a doctor will say.
Doctor said that the autopsy they conducted, that entire pathologists at the National Assembly, representatives from Ministry of Women Affairs, representative from police, two women with their camera, representative from all the doctors that handled the woman, they did entire autopsy on the woman's body. They said there were no traces of violence, mark, fracture, or trauma. That she died of natural cause. That the woman have had cancer for years, but they were mistreating it for ulcer. And at the end of the day, you see all these things they do with taxpayers' money. You decided to do a culpable homicide based on the hearsay. And the hearsay they are hinging on is that the children came and they bear witnesses against the man that they beat their mother. But then, we all know that children all over the world, whether color black or white, that if you beat a child now and give a child biscuit and ask who beat you, go point another person. You understand? Talk more of a child that is under your care. 1 month to 2 months, 1 year, 2 years. It's whatever you tell the child, because you know if you finish here and go, you are coming to meet you. Whatever you tell the child to present, that's what the child will present. And that is why, if you observe very, very well, all over the world, there's any adult you see today and ask the adult to tell you his past, his upbringing, he will tell there are certain positions he holds as a child is no longer what he holds as an adult. Because by the time you grow, you discover reality.com that some of the things you hear, some of the things they tell you, that is not what you face in reality.
Yes, even in the US, there was a case, and the child grew up because the father was sentenced to life imprisonment because for something. And later, I think the father was killed by the mother. He later came and said that the mother actually told him.
That was last year. That report. If I can, the name is coming and go. You understand? The mother, they push to say those things instead.
In court.
You understand? We have had issues.
And the was actually innocent.
Because he has grown now. If we were still to be a child, you know, in training of a child, it's what you say consistently. That is why you go to primary or nursery or pre. They continue to repeat issues until sync with the child. You understand?
Yes.
But when they grow, you discover that Obi is no longer a boy, and Obi can never be a boy. You understand?
CB has grown. No, but what is the way forward? Like I was saying, some of the bills, constitutional amendment bills by the House of Assembly, and one of them is to increase, especially Supreme Court judge, because a situation whereby how can 7 people just decide the fate of a nation? Or decide that they want to increase the judges on the Supreme Court, and because that I wholly agree.
It's not the issue of increase as far as I'm concerned. It's issue of this kind of things we are saying. When you see empirical evidence, you leave it and start to tread on the side of technicality.
It is, yes.
Take for example the last presidential tribunal. Was there a forfeiture of $460,000? Yes. What did court rule? That
is a bank.
It's not just
there's the account.
Not just that Nahimo.
They say it's the account.
And then not just that is him. There's another one they rule. They say that once a crime is committed after 10 years and above, you shouldn't be revisiting it. I don't know. No, they were hinging on technicalities. You understand? So what about the school? They say our president graduated as a secondary school. That's after he graduated, 2 years after he graduated, that's when they established the school. You understand? They were hinging on technicalities. And it weakened the
Even
institutions
when
and
the documents came eventually, they said no, they have already ruled on that, they cannot open it
they
again.
cannot open it
You
again.
know, remember how
So it's not
former
issue.
vice president.
It's not issue of increasing the number of judges. That one can help, but that is not the cardinal. It's not the fundamental thing. The fundamental thing is to see how we can jettison this room by giving room for technicalities, leaving empirical facts, and using technicalities to. And again, let us find a way to see that nomination of judges at any level, either chief judge of the federation or what have you, should not be from the executive. They should find a way to promote those judges or nominate them among themselves.
Okay, Gerard, it's a discussion we are going to have on another day because it's quite exhaustive. It's on this note we've come to the end of today's Inside Nigeria. Thank God it's Friday. My name is Winifred Bebo, and I've had the pleasure of having company today, Gerard Cathy. He's a public affairs analyst and also an NGO, an activist. We say that. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
So till I come your way again, same time next week. Here's wishing you a beautiful weekend ahead. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching. For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word. Thank you for watching.